right, Big FC TV gang, man. Thanks for tuning in to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like my little sweater I got? This comfortable than I'm telling you, man. I'm lucky I grabbed this right here, y'all. This is so look at it, and it come on, y'all. Look at you feel me? Oh, let me see something. Look at y'all, and it light up though. Stop playing with Big FC. But man, thanks again for tuning in to Big FC TV. I appreciate the support. You know what I'm saying? The comments, the likes, the bells. Continue to support my channel, man. I appreciate it, especially if you mess with my content. Tune in to me, man. You feel me? But let's get right to this reaction video.
There are moments when violence doesn't arrive with sirens. No warning, no chaos. Sometimes it comes sealed in an envelope, locked behind courtroom doors, waiting for the right moment to be opened. In December of 2025, that moment arrived. A federal indictment was unsealed in Chicago, and what spilled out wasn't just a list of charges. It was a map of bloodshed, years of violence, a trail of names, neighborhoods, and lives cut short. At the center of all of this was a number, 079. And for years, that number whispered fear across Chicago's South Side. On the South Side of Chicago, streets aren't just streets, they're borders, lines that decide who belongs and who doesn't. For one group, identity was rooted in a stretch of asphalt near 79th Street. The number wasn't symbolic, it was geographic, territorial. Face World 079, a set of BD and GDs located on West 80th Street of Inglewood. The set was previously called Boys Town 79, but was later renamed Face World 079 in honor of the late Lil Face, who died on October 17, 2010, when he was killed by members of Baco.
So how y'all come up with the name Face World?
Shit, phone on that dad name's Face, you feel me? I was a shorty when he died, so I don't know, but we just inherit all this really.
And according to federal prosecutors, it became something more, an enterprise, one that didn't just defend its space, but enforced it. The indictment wouldn't call them a crew or a clique. It used a code word, organization. And for years, investigators quietly documented what that organization allegedly left behind. The violence didn't always explode in dark alleys. Sometimes it arrived in daylight, on public transit, at street corners, in places where no one expected bullets. According to federal records, gunfire erupted on a CTA bus, passengers scrambling for cover with nowhere to run.
We know it's a 21-year-old man being treated here at the University of Chicago Medical Center, and the good news is that he is in stable condition. The Chicago Fire Department telling us that he was shot in the back while getting on that CTA bus. We don't know exactly what led up to the shooting or any type of motive, but we saw that heavy police presence there near 79th and Drexel. Witnesses telling us the 21-year-old was getting on that CTA bus when he was shot. When police arrived on scene, the shooter was already gone. It happened as many people were around that area. We saw some community activists on scene. They tell us they've been trying to reach the youth to prevent these shootings and say it's frustrating to see the kind of crime continue.
We have to figure out what the core problem is mentally. It's something mentally going on. And we know social media plays a big role in all of this behavior because everybody want to be a superstar with a gun.
It's senseless. And at this time of day, it's kids out here and other people going about their lives, doing the right thing. You know, what could make you that mad to want to take another person's life?
So we're still waiting to get some more information from Chicago police. At this time, it does not appear that anyone has been arrested while this investigation continues. But again, that 21-year-old man in stable condition here at the University of Chicago Hospital.
Breaking news in Chatham on the south side. Gunmen shoot a man as he is getting on a CTA bus. Asal Razai is in Chatham for us. And Asal, I understand the gunman got away?
Yeah, Marie, that's right, and it's still an active crime scene right now here behind us. I'll show you. You'll see the CTA bus still parked at the stop here. This is the 79th Street bus, was heading westbound. You can see it is right now wrapped in crime tape. That victim was getting onto the bus when police say shots were fired. The victim, we're told, in serious condition at the hospital, as police are here at the scene trying to piece together exactly what led to the shooting.
Multiple calls of person shot on a CTA bus, 79th and Drexel, 79 and Drexel. We have a bona fide someone shot on that CTA bus.
And you can see at least 2 shell casings on the ground in this video near the front of the CTA bus. A glass partition on board shattered. This is on the corner of 79th and Drexel. The shooting happening just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Chicago police say 2 men were standing on the sidewalk when they fired at a 20-year-old man multiple times as he was getting on the bus. The victim, shot in his back, was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in serious condition. We did see police here this afternoon interviewing multiple witnesses, including the CTA bus driver. We know right now police are searching for those 2 suspected shooters.
In another incident, mourners gathered to say goodbye to a rival gang member. A funeral, a moment meant for grief. Instead, it became a battlefield. Gunfire tore through the crowd. People ran. Children screamed. Shell casings littered the street. One witness would later describe the scene as a war zone. At least 15 people were wounded. But this wasn't random chaos. Investigators believe it was deliberate, calculated, a message.
Yeah, so police bumped the number of shooting victims up to 15 early this morning. They were shot during what police are calling an exchange of gunfire outside of a funeral yesterday. 10 of those victims are women, and we know that the oldest victim is a 65-year-old woman. The largest number of victims brought right here to Advocate Christ Medical Center. And Chicago police tell us they do have 1 person in custody being questioned right now. So this is new video just into our newsroom. You can hear the gunfire. Police telling us they found 60 shell casings at the scene. And if you look closely at that video, you can see a group of people, including several young children, standing outside talking when that gunfire erupts. Those people run for cover using a parked car as a shield. Now, this all happening right around 6:30 last night on 79th and Carpenter. Police say a black vehicle heading west started firing toward a group standing outside. That group attending the funeral, returning fire, hitting that black vehicle. Police say the vehicle with the shooters inside crashed into a parked car, and the 4 people bailed. Now, in the shooting, in the end, there were 15 victims, all survivors, taken to 5 different hospitals, 5 now in serious condition. And we know police must have gotten some sort of heads up that something might take place at this funeral, since commanders tell us one of their squads was stationed right outside when bullets started flying.
421, are you guys okay?
612, it's a black Hyundai going northbound on Carpenter, wrong way. Impala, black Impala going northbound the wrong way.
Now, that was scanner audio from the police officers who were there at the scene. Those who attended this funeral upset because they say this could have been prevented if police had done more after learning about this threat. Mayor Lightfoot taking heat from both residents and President Trump about this summer's heightened gun violence. Yesterday, she announced federal agents will be coming in after initially refusing the help. She tweeted late last night about this shooting, saying too many guns are on our streets and in the hands of people who should never possess them. These individuals will be held accountable. Now, residents in the neighborhood tell us they are actually glad to see the feds coming in to assist. They hope that things will get under control.
After the shootings, something else followed. Silence. Witnesses stopped talking. Victims stopped cooperating. because fear traveled faster than police reports. According to prosecutors, threats and intimidation were used to keep people quiet, to make sure the street stayed silent even when bodies fell. And while neighbors whispered, another trail was forming online. Photos, videos, posts. Investigators allege social media became a digital bulletin board, a place to claim territory, taunt rivals, and boast about violence. What once disappeared into the night was now preserved forever on screens, and federal agents were watching. As the indictment unfolds, the violence becomes impossible to ignore. 13 murders, not rumors, not street legends, 13 lives. Among them, 2 young women, just teenagers, sitting in a car after work, employees at the same store. Their lives ended in seconds.
Robin and Larry, just moments ago, we heard from the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. They are now identifying the 2 young women who died as a result of this shooting in a parked car. They say Zenobia Brantley, 19 years old, and Brittany Rice, 18 years old, both died. They were pronounced here at St. Bernard Hospital. We know a third person was in the vehicle with them, also a teenager. That person did survive and is now hospitalized.
These individuals were shot inside of the car. They got out, fired multiple shots inside of the vehicle. 2 females were shot multiple times.
So more than 25 evidence markers placed in the middle of the street by police during this investigation, many of them marking shell casings. The shooting taking place late last night, the 7700 block of South Eggleston. That's in the Winnacunnet Parkway neighborhood. Police say the victims were sitting in a parked Nissan when 3 men pulled up in a second vehicle described as a blue sedan by police. Those men got out and fired shots into that Nissan. The 2 teenage girls, 18 and 19, were both hit multiple times. They were brought here to St. Bernard, where they were pronounced a third person, a 19-year-old male, taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center after he was shot in the shoulder. Police say he is now stable at the hospital. Police also saying that among those shooters, they do not have anyone in custody right now.
Eric. Judy and Ravi, prosecutors say those defendants for years used threats, intimidation, and outright violence to silence witnesses and maintain the gang's power. This indictment lists more than a dozen murders and a slew of other crimes, including a mass shooting outside a funeral home.
The July 2020 shooting sent people running for cover. At least 15 people wounded when gunmen inside a black Chevy Malibu opened fire on a crowd gathered for a funeral near 79th and Carpenter.
I remember being out there after it happened and seeing casings all over the street and the sidewalk. He said, this is like a war zone.
Father Michael Flager offered a $15,000 reward after the shooting. Now, some 5.5 years later, alleged members of a Southside gang facing federal charges related to that shooting and a string of others.
If there's not consequences, there's no reason to feel like you're going to get caught, then people continue to do it.
A federal grand jury indicting 6 alleged members and associates of the Face World Street Gang on racketeering, conspiracy, and other charges. Prosecutors say for years they committed murder, attempted murder, assault, and other acts of violence against anyone perceived to pose a threat against the Face World enterprise, which engaged in drug trafficking and carjackings.
Look, it's right in the sweet spot of what the U.S. Attorney's Office does. It's a classic RICO gang conspiracy. They've done them for years, and this fits right in the mold.
Prosecutors say the 2020 funeral shooting was in retaliation for the death of a Face World member. The indictment also charges one of the defendants with the 2019 murders of 18-year-old Brittany Rice and 19-year-old Zenobia Brantley. A man was also wounded in that shooting.
It's a long-running criminal gang with a lot of murders to their name, and you can tell that by the charges.
All 6 defendants are in federal custody. If convicted, they could face life in prison, and 3 of those defendants could face the death penalty.
Another victim was a rising figure in Chicago's drill scene, a rapper whose death sent shockwaves far beyond his neighborhood, Lil Mister, and he was the cousin of Lil Durk. His murder wouldn't be charged at the local level. It would resurface years later inside a federal racketeering case. By then, prosecutors weren't just naming suspects, they were connecting dots, and those connections stretched far beyond Chicago. The indictment doesn't stop at violence. It alleges a pipeline, moving cocaine and heroin across state lines, Chicago to Iowa, street corners to highways. Some of the names released from the indictment are as follows: Dante Harper, aka Tay-Tay; Tyrone Foy, aka T-Roy; Taiwan Taplar, aka Ty; Robert Lee Thomas, aka Lil Rob; Davion Harris, aka Dinko; Devon McClure, aka Disco; Dante Harper, aka Chubbs; and Amani McClure, aka Monty or Lil Monty Bucks. Money flowed, weapons followed, and with each transaction, the organization allegedly grew stronger, more insulated, more dangerous. Federal analysts would later say the case fit a familiar pattern, a long-running criminal conspiracy built on fear, money, and murder. But this time, the evidence was overwhelming. Years of surveillance, digital footprints, witness cooperation that finally broke through the silence. The walls were closing in.
6 alleged members of a notorious Chicago street gang were indicted today.
As Andrea Medina reports, federal prosecutors say they're responsible for more than a dozen murders.
Today, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District of Illinois announced a federal grand jury handed down indictments against 6 alleged members of a Chicago street gang, charging them all with racketeering conspiracy. Federal prosecutors allege the group is responsible for at least 13 homicides and a wave of violent crimes carried out across Chicago, all in an effort to maintain control and protect their Southside turf. Those facing charges include 28-year-old Dante Harper, 31-year-old Tyrone Foy, 25-year-old Taiwan Tapler, 22-year-old Robert Lee Thomas, 28-year-old Davion Harris, and 26-year-old Davion McClure. Harper, McClure, and Foy are also charged with murder and aid of racketeering. The indictment outlines several violent incidents allegedly carried out by the gang, incidents that were covered on WGN. The indictment alleges that on or about June 17, 2019, Thomas opened fire on a CTA bus, shooting at an intended target and other passengers, leaving that person and others wounded. The indictment goes on to say defendant Tapler was with Thomas at the time of the shooting. The indictment further states that on July 21, 2020, Harper and several co-conspirators allegedly opened gunfire at the funeral of Donald Weathersby, resulting in multiple people being injured. The indictment goes on to allege that gang leaders believe Weathersby was a member of a rival gang and targeted him in retaliation. Federal authorities claim that the members also used social media to promote their criminal activities, taunting rivals and boasting about murders and other violent acts. The street gang has been under federal investigation for years. Half the defendants have already appeared for their arraignment, while the remaining ones are still waiting.
When the indictment was unsealed, 6 names appeared. 6 men, each allegedly tied to the same violent network. All were already in custody. Some faced racketeering charges alone. Others faced something far heavier: murder and aid of racketeering. Charges so severe that life in federal prison or even death became possible outcomes. For years, the violence had felt unstoppable, but now the consequences were finally catching up. This case isn't just about a gang. It's about what happens when street violence grows so vast, so organized, that it forces the federal government to step in. A reminder that silence doesn't last forever, that digital footprints don't fade, and that even years later, sealed envelopes can be opened, bringing the past rushing back into the present. The streets remember, the victims remain, and now a courtroom will decide whether this reign of violence truly comes to an end, or if it was only one chapter in a much darker story. Because in Chicago, numbers don't just mark streets, sometimes they mark graves. Alright, y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of the 079 Face World Rico. Hey, man, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!
Man, it's crazy, man. What the world is today, especially with these YNs, this young generation now, they just don't care. they just put anybody in their midst. It's like they don't care who outside. Grandma, grandpa, uncle, auntie, mom, dad, sister, brother, kids, and nothing. They just outrageous and just ain't thinking, and they let their emotions get in the way and they just attack. They don't think about nothing else. They need to start thinking wisely. Like, that ain't the way to go, bro. You feel me? It's other ways to evolve or to evolve situations like that, basically. And then they always say, police always say, crime going down, or they try their hardest. To me, they arrest one group, and then it's another new group out there, which the new group is just a never-ending cycle. It's like they arrest, they take a group down, another group come up. It's like how the guns get out there, how weapons get out there. It's like a never-ending story. It's like that's what keep everything going, because if they don't have no job, or they don't got nothing to do, if they don't continue to let these young black kids kill themselves or get caught with guns, or let guns and drugs float around the world, that's how they get paid. Then the feds want to come in when they just feel like, okay, now that they're going overboard, now it's doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to get this heckly. That's when they come. They don't come when they, that's 2-3 kill. Oh, that ain't nothing. Oh, that ain't. You know what I'm saying? Once it start getting overboard, where they know it's getting out of control, where the state shouldn't let it get to, that's when they want to jump in and try to, you know what I'm saying, to shut everything down and slow everything down. But when it come another in the cycle, never in the cycle, another group come. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with every city. It's like that. It's like they be putting everybody in a mix. Like, sometimes when they come in, they be using weapons and stuff. They don't be even hitting a intended target. You know, they hit innocent people. Like at the funeral, innocent people. You know what I'm saying? It ain't make no sense. And then they did it right in front of police. They don't have no filter. They don't have no nothing. They just don't care now. And that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, they gotta start looking at what they doing out here. They killing each other. You feel me? Why would y'all want to kill each other for? That ain't nothing, or that ain't nothing to be bragging about, or that ain't nothing to be proud about. You feel me? And then when you go on YouTube and all social and talk for bad, you ain't heard nobody but these people, parents and family and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's who you took them away from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't even make no sense. Like, y'all need to get y'all together, get y'all mind right. You feel me? There's more things out there than just killing or hanging on the corner. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Sports out there. It's a lot of things, you feel me, you could do. Then just want to kill or want to shoot or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? That don't make no sense, man. That stuff right here made it be so frustrated, because you could try to talk to the youth, but the youth don't listen, because they be always thinking that you trying to tell them something or lead them wrong. But no, bro, I want you to go the right path. You feel me? I want you to make it to see the age that I want to make it to see. You know what I'm saying? You live to die, but you don't live to die at a young age. You live to die to build wealth, to build a family, to, you know, whatever the God plan is for you. But your plan end early because you want to run in the street. God didn't put you here to run in them streets. He didn't put that gun in your hand. You force your hand. You put that gun in your hand yourself. You feel what I'm saying? You force your life to end early. Not God. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't the path he wants you to go. You went to that path. You took that path. And that path leads to early death or life in prison. That ain't cool. You feel me? Because like I say, y'all don't care about nothing else but y'allself. Y'all hurt other people out here in these streets. Y'all hurting your family members, your moms, y'all, you know what I'm saying, siblings, if you got some. That's who hurt. You gone, or you in jail. You know what I'm saying? And when you in jail, you reaching out to the ones that you heard it, that you left. That was trying to tell you, don't do this, go this way. But you didn't want to listen. But now, since you got life imprisonment, you want to reach out to me now and listen now. It shouldn't be like that. It's a cold world, you know what I'm saying? It's a cold world, and this how the world keep going. It's just like a never-ending cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they shut this one thing down, it's another group coming up. Man, shut all this down. Get these kids right, man. Open up more opportunities. Whatever you gotta do, man. If y'all really care about these kids growing up to see, to be better, or growing up to see older age, then show them that you care. Put your foot down. You know, because every time I get a youngster that I feel ain't doing right, or anything that the person that I feel like I love, I'm going to talk to them regardless of what they say. And I'll always be in their ear, always try to tell them something. You know, some don't listen. And the ones I did tell, they no longer here, or they in life. They doing life in prison. And I try to tell them, man, that ain't the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Now, who out here hurt? The ones that y'all left. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you carrying that weapon for, or you pulling that trigger for. They been gone out your life. They don't care. You just a brother that's washed up or in the casket. The ones that's hurting is your family, man. Pay attention, y'all. Get yourself together, man. We need to, man. But, man, if you watch this reaction video all the way to the end, I appreciate you tuning in to Big FC TV. You know what I'm saying? Reaction. Thank you for supporting my channel. You feel me? Once again, once you hit that like, hit that comment, you leave a comment, hit that notification bell. You know what I'm saying? So when I drop a video, you be the first to get notified. Until the next one, peace.